Trojans and the Carlisle, the Wildcats. And we'll get that here in just a little bit. And we're back right after these.
Olson's Outdoor Power is your one-stop service and equipment shop for all things outdoor. We sell the best power sports products in the business, from Polaris, Can-Am, Sea-Doo, and Ski-Doo, trailers to tackle any job from H&H, Triton, and Wilson, and we continue to lead the way in lawn and garden equipment with great products from Exmark, Dixie Chopper, Husqvarna, Cub Cadet, Steel, and Echo. Add factory-trained technicians in 2 locations, and it's easy to see why Olson's Outdoor Power is the leader.
First Winnie Bank is the longest-standing locally owned bank in Atlantic, and as such, we take pride in how we serve our community. For generations, we have been involved with our customers and their families by getting involved in community events and by supporting technology and teaching financial literacy in our schools. You'll also see our support of athletics on the scoreboards at home events. It's this involvement that allows us to know our customers and their families for generations. First Winnie Bank, the only bank you'll ever need. Member FDIC.
Have you ever heard the saying, people spend their life building wealth and neglecting their health, only to wish they could trade their wealth for better health at the end? This is Dr. Fritz Beyer, and it has now been over 30 years since my first chiropractic adjustment. I still get asked, do you get adjusted? Absolutely. I try to get adjusted at least once a month. I'm 47 now and still try to stay as active as ever. While I do get a few more aches and pains than when I was younger, it feels great to be able to step on the mat and help kids learning to wrestle.
At 2nd Street Auto, it's our mission to get you back on the road fast. And it all starts with free local towing. Once you're back at the shop, we talk you through your car repair with a free and fair estimate. We do everything in-house so you know who's working on your car. Our Hercules tires come with free road hazard repair, free rotation for the life of the tires, and a free alignment check. And nobody can beat our transmission rebuild and repair experts. Brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, preventative maintenance, and service work make 2nd Street your first stop.
Cass Health in Atlantic, Iowa is a nationally recognized hospital, and we are proud of the awards and all of our recent accomplishments. But do you know what drives us to be the very best? You. We're passionate about helping our patients heal and feel their very best at any age and any stage of life. Cass Health, neighbors caring for neighbors.
Welcome back to Atlantic, the nightcap game between the Trojans and the Carlisle Wildcats. Carlisle just defeated Esterville Lincoln Central 11-2 in 5 innings, and the Wildcats are 8-2 coming in to this contest tonight. Atlantic fell short to Esterville Lincoln Central in the afternoon game, the matinee game. 4-2 was a thriller in that game. It was 2-2 tie after 1 inning of play, and then Yeager, the pitcher, shot Atlantic down 11 straight batters. St. Tom got a single to break that stretch, and then the Midgets able to score 2 runs at the top of the 7th inning, and that came back in the bottom half and shut out Atlantic 1-2-3, and that was it for the Trojans. But then Carlisle just looked impressive against Esterville Lincoln Central.
Absolutely. I mean, they weren't throwing Yeager, so it made a difference there, but they still had the batters. They just couldn't put any runs up.
Atlantic will be pitching Zoe Kirchhoff in game number 2 for the Trojans. Carlisle will be throwing Logan Brown in game 2 as we take a look at Kirchhoff's numbers here in the circle for the Trojans. Zoe is 3-1 on the year, 23 innings pitched. Batting against her .229. She's allowed 16 runs on 22 hits, 7 walks, and 20 strikeouts. Kirchhoff with an ERA of 2.74. A little bit different look on defense for Atlantic here in game number 2. Kirchhoff and Wiederstein, the battery. Claire Schroeder at third. McLaren at shortstop. That's Peyton. McKenna Sontag at second. And Jillian Saitoff in first. Here we go. Sears leads off and looks at a ball. Nope. The strike, and the count is 0-1. And then In the
Gotta get used
outfield,
to the,
Dylan Ball in
umpire.
left, Adler Bruce in center, and Madison McLaren is in right field. 0-1 the count. Kirchhoff goes back to work. Here's the pitch. That's low and in. The count is 1-1, and we're underway here in the nightcap here in Atlantic. Yesterday, Lincoln Central winning the first game against the Trojans. Scored 4 runs on 10 hits. Atlantic 2 runs and 5 hits in the game. Kirchhoff brings the 1-1 pitch on the way. That's going to be a strike, and the count is 1-2 to Addison Sears. Olivia Freeman on deck, and then Logan Brown batting for the Wildcats here in the top of the first inning. Kirchhoff set to go. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way, and it is swung on and ripped to the third base dugout. That was high and in, and she got way ahead of it.
That was high and in, and boy, she...
And 1 ball and 2 strikes. Addison Sears, Olivia Freeman, Logan Brown to bat for Carlisle here in the top half of the first inning. Just underway, Kirchhoff ahead 1 ball and 2 strikes to Sears. There's a sign from Wiederstein. And the pitch is on the way. Low for ball. The count goes to 2-2 to Sears in the leadoff spot. Addison Sears hitting .273 before this doubleheader this evening, before the game against Esterville Lincoln Central, which they won handily. You're up 11-0 at 1 point. 2-2 pitch coming in, swung on, a blooper beyond third base, and back goes Schroeder to make the grab for Atlantic. 1 out for Carlisle here in the top of the first inning. A little bloop fly ball, and Schroeder right there to make the play, right behind third base. Olivia Freeman will stand in. Freeman, a right-handed batter for the Wildcats. Nobody on, 1 out for Carlisle, top of the first inning. Kirchhoff looks to the dugout to get the sign from Coach Molly O'Hara. Here's the pitch on the way, coming in. That's low and in for a ball. The count is 1-0. Freeman on the year hitting .304 before this evening's contest. A right-handed hitter. 1-0 the count. Kirchhoff winds up and fires. That's a strike. 1-1 outside edge. One thing McLaren was doing in game 1 is she was hitting those outside corner pitches. 1 ball and 1 strike. Righty against righty here. Top of the first inning, nobody on, 1 out. Time called. Too much time taken by Kirchhoff, and Freeman steps out. Logan Brown on deck for Carlisle. Kirchhoff, the sign. She'll wind and fire. Swing and a miss. The count goes to 1-2. Nice pitch by Kirchhoff. Bruce in center. Dylan Ball in left. Madison McLaren is playing right, the 8th grader, getting a start out of right field for the Trojans. Otherwise, the infield similar, except Kirchhoff and McLaren switch from shortstop to the circle. 1-2 pitch coming in. Swing and a miss. A strikeout for Kirchhoff. 2 up and 2 down for Carlisle here in the top of the first inning.
Kirchhoff. That'll bring in number 37 for Carlisle, Logan Brown.
Logan Brown will stand in. Nobody on and 2 down. Brown hitting .348 before the games of tonight. Kirchhoff takes her time to get the sign. Now she's stepping back. Nobody on, 2 down, no score, top of the first. The pitch by Kirchhoff coming in. That's a strike on the outside corner. Nice job as Kirchhoff off to a good start.
Well, just pick your pitches. I know they've scouted these guys before, so you know where to put the ball.
Stand ahead in the count here early on. The first 2 1/3 batters. Here's the pitch. Rolls in for a ball. Count is 1-1.
She tried to slow up on that one, see if she could drop it in there.
I tell you, we had her the broadcast at Harlan on Monday.
Yeah, well, it was working.
Her changeup was working.
Yeah, it was working.
Looked like she had a string on the ball, and I know last year she'd throw those changeups. They seemed to be a little bit high, but they drop in. These changeups were about letter high.
Right.
And just really had the Cyclone batters off balance. That one's inside for a ball. 2-1 the count. Nobody on. 2 down for Carlisle. Top of the first inning, Brown at the plate. Trojans have a tournament tomorrow. 4 teams in that tourney. They'll play that at the Little League Complex, I believe.
Yes.
Here's the pitch. That's a ball low. Now the count goes to 3-1. Hitters count for Logan Brown here for Carlisle.
Yeah, they play it out there so they can play it all at the same time.
All at the same time. And here's the pitch on the way, 3-1. Here it is. That's a strike outside corner. Beauty by Kirchhoff. Full count to Brown, 3-2. Myra Heidemann is on deck, the second base person for the Wildcats, top of the first inning. Kirchhoff eyes Wiederstein's mitt. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swung on and fouled off the handle. Straight back. Count remains full at 3-2. So Elsterdam Lincoln Central to beat Atlantic in game 1, 4-2. They lost to Carlisle, 11-2 in game 2. Carlisle ranked 5th in 4A. Elsterdam Lincoln Central also highly ranked, and they suffered their first loss this season against Carlisle. Here's a 3-2 pitch. That's low for a ball, and Brown draws a 2-out walk. Here in the top of the first inning, Myra Heidemann will stand in. Heidemann, a right-handed hitter for the Wildcats. She'll step to the plate, hitting .348. This team is averaging .340. They play a good schedule of games. They're a class of 4A squad, and when you look at their schedule, with just 2 losses on the year. Their head coach is Jim Flaws, assistant Justin Flaws, Tyler Best, Jordan Flaws, Matt Best, and Mac Lose are the coaches for Carlisle. Left-handed hitting, Heidemann is to the plate. 1 on and 2 down. No score, bottom at the top of the first. There's the pitch in there for a strike at the letters, and the count is 0-1. So Brown, the runner at first base via the 2-out walk. Kirchhoff, a look over the first base dugout. If you look at the 2 losses, North, Polk, and Bonrad Farrar. Throw to second, the steal, not in time. How about Brown stealing the gun, Wiederstein's arm, and gets in there safely on the slide. Now Heidemann will stand back in, 0-1 the count. So Bonrad Farrar and North Scott, the only 2 teams to hand Carlisle a blemish. Again, Kirchhoff looks in. Now she wants to go back through the signs again. Timeout is called as Heidemann's not going to wait. Now she stands back in. Runner at second base. Top of the first, 2 down. Here's the pitch. Swung on, popped up. Shallow right. In comes Madison. McLaren can't get to it. A run will score, and Carlisle leads 1-0. So Heidemann with a single and an RBI.
That was just a tough position.
Oh, tough.
That was right in between everybody.
So a base hit for Heidemann. Randy McLaren made a nice effort. The 8th grader coming in from right field and made an effort at it. But yeah, like you said, that was in no man's land. A bloop single for Heidemann and an RBI, scoring Brown. Here's Claire Benson at the plate. 1 on, 2 down, 1 in for the Wildcats. Top of the first. Here's the pitch. Showed bunt strike called. Back to the pitcher, Kirchhoff. And Heidemann back to first base. Just a high fly ball that dropped in a triangle out of shallow right field. Benson to the plate. The DP batting for Egenauer. There's the pitch high for a ball. Egenauer will play out in left field. Being hit for by Benson. Benson, a right-handed hitter. Batting .615 coming in. 1-1 the count to Benson. The pitch. Swung on and ripped foul. Almost hit the on-deck circle. Batter,
it did.
But
she had her shin guards on. She's a catcher.
Ricocheted off the shins.
Yeah.
1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 on and 2 down and 1 in for the Wildcats. Top of the first inning. 5th ranked in 4A. We watched them play against Esterville Lincoln Central. We know why. Changeup is fouled off.
Fouled off?
Nice pitch by Kirchhoff.
Yeah.
Just hit above the handle of bat on Benson.
She tried to check swing. It was just enough to get it out there.
Yeah.
Too bad Lila couldn't nab that baby.
1 ball and 2 strikes. A long at bat for Carlisle. Just 1 run across. That pitch is popped up. Shortstop McLaren. A couple of back steps. Makes the catch on the dirt. And that'll be it for Carlisle. They scored 1 run and 1 hit, no errors, and they left a runner. We're through 1 half. Wildcats 1, Trojans coming to bat in the bottom half of the first inning. Has time.
Gas prices got you down? Need a ride to work or the grocery store? there's public transportation for everyone in southwest Iowa. SWITA offers taxi service in Atlantic, Glenwood, Harlan, Missouri Valley, Red Oak, and Shenandoah. $2.50 each way or $2 for seniors 60 years and older. Just call 1-800-842-8065 or visit swita.com to schedule your ride.
Stein delivers more new genetics faster. Our focus on delivering higher yielding genetics faster than the competition is why we have released more new Enlist E3 lines in the past 5 years than any other seed company. For elite genetics paired with simple, flexible, and effective weed control, plant Stein Enlist E3 soybeans. Stein has yield. 45 years of yield. Learn more at steinseed.com.
Strikeouts on the year. He's only hit one batter. Logan Brown, a senior, in the circle for Carlisle. Atlantic leads off with Lila Wiederstein. 1-0. Carlisle, we're in the bottom half of the first, the Trojan side here in Atlantic. Here's the pitch to Wiederstein, strike right down the pipe. And the count's 0-1 to Lila, the junior. Wiederstein hitting .545 before tonight's contest, and she added to that in game number
absolutely.
1. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Wiederstein. Looks at a strike 2. Outside corner. Logan Brown finding the strike zone early. No balls and 2 strikes. Wiederstein, Schroeder, and Kirchhoff for Atlantic here in the bottom half of number 1. Logan Brown winds up, wings it in, swung on and fouled back. Took a little off that pitch. Now remains 0-2 to Lila Wiederstein. Wiederstein with power, not a real. When you look at her, you wouldn't think she'd have that power.
Yeah, but that bat's got a lot of bat speed on it.
She's got a lot of speed on those wrists. 4 home runs of the year, 10 RBI. Zoe Kirchhoff leads the team with 18 RBI. That one way outside for ball. Hit her hip coming through.
Yeah, hit her hip coming through.
1-2 the count to Wiederstein. Yeah, Kirchhoff had 18 RBI to lead the team coming in. Dylan Ball with 10, and then Wiederstein with 10. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. Swung on a hot shot to short. Knocked down by Freeman. Fires to first. They don't get the speedy Wiederstein, though.
You got to pick it up clean.
So Wiederstein.
That'd be a base hit.
Yeah, that's a base hit. And that was a hard hit ball. Freeman did a good job of gobbling it up, but man, Wiederstein got down the line like a bullet. And the Trojans have their leadoff hitter aboard here in the bottom half of the first. 1-0 Wildcats. Here's the clear. Schroeder, the batter, the third base person for Atlantic. Here's the pitch. Shows bunt. Wiederstein back. Count 1-0. That one high and away. So Coach Hensman going small ball here early. Wildcats scored a run on a hit in the top of this frame. Trojans have one on and nobody down here in the bottom half of the first. Logan Brown in the circle. The right-hander brings it high for a ball, 2-0. So she knows Schroeder's looking to bunt, so she's going to keep that ball up. We'll see if she comes down with it here with the count 2-0. Wiederstein at first base for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the first inning. Brown wheels and deals. There's the bunt missed. Now the count goes to 2-1. Maybe Wiederstein will steal here. We'll see if they send her down and test the arm of Mallory Stutzman, the catcher for Carlisle. What do you think, Roger? 2-1.
Well, I'll tell you what, with Wiederstein's speed, I'd almost test it and not give up a bunt here.
Here's the pitch. He's not going to run. That one's high and away. Oh, they called a strike. Now the count is 2-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Schroeder will be swinging away here. And you may see Wiederstein run.
That's where you got to be careful because you're swinging and you get one to pop up. You got to pay attention.
Here's the 2-2 pitch coming in, and it's showed bunt outside, 3-2. Wiederstein not running. Full count to Schroeder with Kirchhoff on deck for Atlantic here in the bottom half of number 1. 1-0, and Wildcats with the lead.
I don't mind bunting with 2 strikes. You just got to make sure that you got enough confidence to put it down.
3-2 pitch. There's a bunt, a beauty at the first base line, and that's going to go foul. She's going to be out. So strikeout for Brown, and Schroeder fouls off the third strike and a bunt. Wiederstein goes back. Almost a beauty.
Almost a beauty, yeah.
Zoe Kirkhoff.
1 on and 1 out for Atlantic at the bottom of the first. Zoe Kirkhoff will step in for Atlantic. Kirkhoff at a .625 average coming in, and she had a couple of hits in game 1 against the Midgets. 1-0 Wildcats here. A runner on first with an out. Here's Kirkhoff, and the pitch by Logan Brown, high and away. Count 1-0. Kirkhoff, a couple of home runs this season, 18 RBI. And game number 1, I believe she picked up a run batted in there. She's 19 on the year. 1 ball and no strikes to Kirkhoff. Wiederstein at first. Here's the pitch. That's a strike inside corner. Beauty by Logan Brown. Now the count is 1-1. On deck is Dylan Bull with 1 out. Logan Brown set to go to work again with Wiederstein at first. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way. Swung on a ground ball to third. Gets through Smith. Backed up by Freeman. Fires to first for the out. Now to third, and the tag, and they got her. A double play. Unbelievable. Freeman made a great play. Got the throw on Kirkhoff, and then Wiederstein trying to stretch to third base, and she was thrown out. Atlantic is done just like that. 1-0 Wildcats after 1. We're back in 60.
I know we just better be coming with no strings.
Get ready for a fresh start at Greg Young Atlantic. Our Greg Young Fresh Start program helps you hit the road with confidence, overcome credit challenges with personalized financing, and a wide selection of great vehicles. Visit us today to find your brand new Chevy, GMC, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram, or check out our huge pre-owned selection at GregYoungAtlantic.com and GregYoungCDJRAtlantic.com. And to apply. Don't miss out on this incredible offer. Here at Greg Young, we go the extra mile for you.
At Oak Point Wealth Management, we're embracing new changes to better serve you. As an independent wealth manager, I'm excited to partner with LPL Financial, bringing you comprehensive tools and resources backed by personalized service and dynamic technology. My focus remains on helping you achieve your financial goals with integrity and care. Visit oakpointwealth.com or call me, Erin Friend, at 712-207-3521 to learn more.
Visit www.oakpointwealth.com, 712-207-3521 to learn more about how Oak Point Wealth Management can help you pursue your financial goals.
.300 before tonight. And she was just 3 for 10. Not a lot of at-bats for Stutzman. Batting the 6th spot, then Smith 7, Stoner 8. 1-0 Carlisle. We're in the top of the 2nd inning. Kirkhoff in the circle, brings the pitch. Fastball's a strike on the inside edge. Well, I like the way these pitchers hit the corners. McLaren hit that, as we mentioned, in game 1, the outside edge. Kirkhoff working mostly inside corner here in the first 6 batters she's faced. Here's the pitch coming high for a ball.
Oops.
1-1 the count to Stutzman, Smith, and Stoner. 1-0 Carlisle. We're in the top of the 2nd. Nobody on, nobody out. As the leadoff hitter, Stutzman in the batter's box. Our live video stream is powered by Nishnanets on our WesternIowaToday.com TV and YouTube. That pitch is a strike. Inside, that's a ball. 2 balls and a strike.
Look good from here. Let's put it that way.
Okay, I need to sit up straight. Then
yeah.
Be better off. We're pretty much behind home plate, and here's a 2-1 pitch on the way from Kirkhoff, and it is swung on and fouled straight back, and boom, right into the stands as everybody scatters. I'm just kidding. 2-2.
Yeah.
2-2 the count.
I'd get out of the way, that's for sure.
2 balls and 2 strikes here in the top of the second inning. Stutzman at the plate. 1-0 Carlisle as Kirchhoff sat, fires, swung on and fouled right straight back again.
Did you jump?
Nobody did that time. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Getting used to it now.
Hey, did anybody out there watching it on the TV or on the live stream jump because it was coming right at us?
It's coming right at you. 2-2 the count. The Stutzman leading off the top of the second. Kirchhoff will bring the 2-2. That's high for a ball, 3-2. Kirchhoff had a strikeout and a walk in the first inning. On deck is Ella Smith for the top of the second. 1-0 Carlisle with the lead. Brown scoring after a walk and an RBI single behind him. And that was hot shot in the hole and left. That's a base hit. Second hit for Carlisle in the ball game, and Stutzman leads off with a single to the left.
Stutzman singles to the left side.
So Smith will step in.
Carlisle, number 18, the
Ella Smith, the third baseman. Ella Smith hitting. Well, Spector first. There you go, 263.
The freshman Anaya Oates.
So here we go. Ella Smith at the plate for the Wildcats. 1 on and nobody down here in the top of the second inning. As Kirchhoff will go to work here, the righty. Giving up 1 run on 2 hits. Here's the pitch and the butt attempt. Outside for a ball. Oates the runner now for Carlisle. 1-0 the count here in the top of the second. 1-0 Carlisle with a 1 on and nobody down. The batter is Smith and then Stoner. Here's Kirchhoff. The righty wings it in. There's a bunt shown. The pitch is strike on the inside corner. And Wiederstein quickly gets the ball back to the circle to hold the runner at first base.
That's interesting.
Now she's going to switch to the right. Started out left and now right. The pitch. Bunt popped up. Wiederstein catch. Runner back to first. There's 1 down. So Smith was started out on the left side of the plate and then went to the right side and popped up a bunt. And Wiederstein with a catch
Brings
there.
in first baseman Maley Stoner for
So
Carlisle.
Stoner will step in. And then Parker Kane on deck with 1 on, 1 out, top of the second, 1-0 Carlisle. Kirchhoff in the circle for Atlantic. 1 strikeout and 2 walks. And the pitch is on the way. Here it is, another bunt. Right back to the third baseman. Here's a throw to first. Nice shot by Schroeder. The runner round second to go into third, and nobody was there to cover. And Oates all the way around to third base for the Wildcats. There's 2 down. Near the top of the second inning.
Center fielder Parker Kane.
So Parker Kane will step in, the center fielder for the Wildcats. A left-handed batter at the top of the order. Addison Sears on deck. Oates the runner at third. 2 down. Here's the pitch. Another bunt attempt. That's a strike outside corner. Count on 1. Wildcats up 1-0. We're in the top of the second. Runner at third. Oates rather. Here's the pitch on the way, and it's high for a ball. Count goes to 1-1. Anaya Oates, a freshman, running at third. Stutzman led off with a single. Oates running for her. Kirchhoff the sign. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's outside for a ball, 2-1. Kane at the plate, and Sears, the leadoff hitter on deck for Kemper. Parker Kane, a left-handed hitting center fielder. Kirchhoff winds and wings, and that's a ground ball to third, picked up by Schroeder. She bounces one to Satoff, the sure-headed first base person, able to pick it up on a bounce, and that'll be it there. And first base play by Satoff.
Yeah, absolutely. That saved that.
Satoff had a nice stretch in the game against
that was a wonderful
Central.
one.
She's really established herself on defense.
Yep.
1-0 Carlisle. We head the bottom half of the second. We're back right after these at 95.7 FM.
Don't just sell vehicles, we help you.
Atlantic Ag and Auto, your locally owned CarQuest Auto Parts store, is seeking help to fill a part-time or possibly full-time position. While experience in retail parts is preferred, it is not a deal breaker. The ideal candidate should have entry-level computer skills and be comfortable working with the public and having some fun while doing it. If you have excellent customer service skills, a valid driver's license, and a history of reliability, we would like to hear from you. Atlantic Ag and Auto is an equal opportunity employer located at 716 West 7th Street here in Atlantic.
Hey there, this is Tanner from your Atlantic Hy-Vee, and I've got some exciting news to share. Thanks to your feedback, we're currently rated the friendliest Hy-Vee in the entire company. That's a huge honor, and on behalf of the whole team, thank you to everyone who's taken time to share their thoughts. Did you know you can leave feedback too? Just check the link on the bottom of your Hy-Vee receipt or in your email after a purchase. Whether it's a compliment or constructive criticism, I love reading our surveys and making sure we're always improving. And as always, thank you for shopping your Atlantic Hy-Vee.
Bottom half of the second inning, and Carlisle with a 1-0 lead. They scored that run at the top of the first. And for Atlantic, it'll be Dylan Ball at the plate. McLaren Satoff, that's Peyton McLaren Satoff. 4, 5, and 6. Logan Brown allowed no runs on one hit in the double play. End of the inning for Atlantic in the bottom half of the first inning. So Dylan Ball will stand in. Peyton McLaren and Satoff, 4, 5, and 6 for the Atlantic. Ball playing left field here in this second game. Dylan Ball played right field in game number 1. There's number 10, Atlantic in the black uniforms with the pinstripes and gold trim. Carlisle in their red uniforms with the yellow trim. Pitches swung on and missed for strike. What do you like about Logan Brown here early on?
Well, I'll tell you what, she's got a pretty good whip on it.
Balls on a strike to Dylan Ball. 1-0 Wildcats from the bottom half of the second inning. Logan Brown the sign. And here's the pitch coming in. That's outside for ball. 1-1 the count to Dylan Ball, and then McLaren and Satoff. Ball hitting .393 coming in the game this evening before the Esterville Lincoln Central contest. Logan Brown goes to work. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's a strike on the outside corner. Count is 1-2. Boy, Atlantic is really selective. They don't really get up there and attack, do they? They're waiting for their pitch.
Yeah, which is all right, but you got to make contact when you do swing. 1
ball and 2 strikes. They make the pitcher throw. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. Outside, 2-2. Ball with a good at bat here. We'll see if she can get one out in the green. Atlantic just one hit here early on. That was Wiederstein's single. She was thrown out trying to stretch it at third base. Brown will wing it in. Here's the pitch coming. Strike 3 called a beauty. Ball watched it fly by. 1 out for Atlantic in the bottom half of the second. Here comes Peyton McLaren to the plate.
Peyton McLaren.
Jillian Satoff on deck here in the bottom half of the second inning. Wildcats up 1-0. Nobody on, 1 out for Atlantic. McLaren at the plate. The righty against righty. Brown will wing it in for a strike on the inside edge. Count 0-1. Jillian Satoff on deck. She had a single in the game against Esterville Lincoln Central. Yeager had retired 11 straight batters, and then Satoff stopped that stretch with a base knock. Here's the 0-1 pitch coming. That's a strike. 0-2 the count outside edge, and now the batter falls behind. No balls and 2 strikes. Logan Brown has a few pitches to give here, way ahead in the count, 0-2. Nobody on, 1 out for Atlantic. Here's the pitch on the way, swung on a tap foul. Jillian Satoff on deck. Satoff hitting 200 before the outings here this evening. Boy, they play McLaren. They crowd the right and left side. There's a big hole right up the middle.
Yeah, I see that.
They play like a rover out in right center. Here's the pitch. That one's high for a ball. Count is 1-2.
Well, the experience must be with this pitcher that you can't get around on her much. So,
well, they got Sears straight away, and then they've got Parker Kane playing about right center. And not very deep either. Left fielder's shallow as well. That pitch is popped up, and the second base person there, Heidemann makes the catch. 2 up and 2 down for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the second inning. Here comes Satoff.
That's going to bring in Jillian.
So now the center fielder, Roger, Kane, she's going to drift back towards the middle, but not
Just
much.
not much. I mean, they're still playing at right side heavy.
Left fielder playing shallow. And the center fielder, Kane, now she's going to go back to right center. Nobody on, 2 down for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the second, down 1-0. That pitch is strike. To Satoff, Maddie McLaren, the 8th grader, on deck for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the second inning. Logan Brown in the circle for Carlisle. The 0-1 pitch coming in. Swung on, tap to third. Knocked down by the third baseman Smith. Throws to first for the out. Atlantic goes down in order. 1, 2, 3. 1-0. Wildcats after 2. We're back right after these.
Transit Agency helps all.
When you're on the go, it's all about convenience. Add fantastic food, beverages, plus BP superior fuels, and you have Olson's BP in Atlantic. From sunup to sundown, we're the keep you going store. From our loaded breakfast burritos and Bunker Dunker donuts to our delicious Champs chicken and pizza to go, we have the food you crave. Don't forget the cold beer in the beer cave. Stop in and fill her up. There's always something you need at Olson's BP, the keep you going store, 2nd and Locust in Atlantic.
At Seed Pros, our mission is to be your business partner every day of every season.
Pioneer Hybrid International was founded in Iowa back in 1926 and is still American today. Not many other seed providers can make that claim.
We partner with you to continually push the limits by combining elite seed genetics, local infield knowledge, along with customer service second to none.
We are with you from the word go. Contact Mark Van Tiger, Gary Dinkla, Nick Knutson, or John Becker to partner with a team that puts your business needs first.
Carlisle leading 1-0. They scored that run on 1 hit in the first inning, an RBI single by Myra Heineman. And now the top of the order for the Wildcats, Addison Sears, Olivia Freeman, and Logan Brown to bat here in the frame. Carlisle 1 run on 2 hits. Atlantic they got a hit back in that first inning. Here's the pitch coming. That one's low and in for a ball. 1-0 the count to Addison Sears. Trojans got a single by Wiederstein back in the first. They've got no runs and 1 hit. And Carlisle 1 run on 2. Kirchhoff in the circle for the Trojans. Winds up and wings it in. Bunt shown, pulled back, strike called. Count 1-1 to Addison Sears. Flew out to third, or popped up to third base. Schroeder her first time up. Freeman on deck, struck out. Logan Brown walked, and then Heineman had that single there. Pitch is popped up, shallow center. Back goes McLaren, makes the grab, and there's 1 down.
Ball caught by number 15, Peyton McLaren.
Alyssa Freeman will stand in for Carlisle. Nobody on, 1 out. 1-0 Wildcats. Freeman and then Brown. Freeman a right-handed batter.
21 for Carlisle.
Kirchhoff caught her swinging there for a strikeout of the first inning. Then Logan Brown had that 2-out walk and scored on Heineman's single. Nobody on, 1 out. Here's the pitch by Kirchhoff. Strike called to the knees. The count is 0-1.
Well, if they want to square around and bunt, you got to put it in play, and you just got to make the play.
Coach Flaws and Coach Henneman like this small ball. We'll see if Freeman squares here. Here's the pitch. Nope, she's going to swing, and a half swing base hit right field. And it's going to be Freeman with a single. She went a half settle.
Yeah.
She went with the pitch.
She went with the pitch.
But,
37, Logan Brown.
Third hit for Carlisle. 3 singles, 1 on and 1 out. Top of the third, 1-0 Wildcats. Here's Logan Brown at the plate, walked and scored her first time up, a left-handed hitter. Kirchhoff will get set, wheels, and deals. The pitch, low and away. There goes the runner, and Wiederstein's going to hold. Nope, she's going to get it through.
Nope, she didn't mean to.
Didn't mean to, but that went right by Kirchhoff. And the stolen base for Freeman. She's at second for the Wildcats. 1-0 Carlisle. We're in the top of the third inning. And Freeman struck out her first time up, gets that single. Now she stands at second base with a stolen bag. Kirchhoff set to go. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. Bunt shown. There goes the runner. Throw to third base on the wrong side of the bag. And Freeman is safe with another stolen bag. Good throw by Wiederstein, just on the wrong side.
Yep.
And Freeman able to slide in. And now she's at third base, 60 feet away. With one out here at the top of the third inning, 1-0 Carlisle. Brown walked and scored her last time up. The count is 1-1 strike. Freeman stands at third with a couple of stolen bags for Carlisle. Here's Kirchhoff, wheels, deals, bunt. Here comes the runner, and she'll slide in safely, throw to first, not in time. Freeman scores. Brown with the bunt single, and she drives in a run.
Freeman makes it in off of 2 stolen
And now
bags.
it's a 2-0 lead for Carlisle here at the top of the third inning.
Mira Heidemann.
2 runs and 4 hits for the Wildcats. Brown will be run for. Chloe Rolling, the freshman, will
Rolling in the run on
use
first
her
base.
legs for Coach Flaws.
Well, she did the last time. She's going to take off running, so.
Heidemann, an RBI single to back in the first inning. The left-hander will stand in. 2-0 Carlisle. 2 runs on 4 hits here in the ball game so far. Here's Kirchhoff, and here's the pitch. There goes the runner. Throw to second base. Gets away. On to third is the runner for Brown. Rolling, and the freshman in safely. Runner third for the Wildcats. As Wiederstein threw down to second base, and that went wide.
That was an errant throw.
Yes. Heidemann at the plate. 1 on, 1 out, 1 in, 2-0. Carlisle with the lead. Kirchhoff in the circle. Here's the pitch to Heidemann on the way. Another bunt shown. Pops up, caught by Kirchhoff. They're going to double off the runner, and that's going to be it.
Double play by
A double play. Kirchhoff with a catch on Heidemann. And then she threw out Brown at the third base, and the Trojans get out of this one. But the Wildcats scored a run on 2 hits. 1 Atlantic Air. We're through 2.5. Wildcats with a 2-1 lead. We're back after these.
At Rolling Hills Bank and Trust, we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We've been dedicated to our communities for over 35 years. From real estate and ag loans to personal and commercial banking, we offer a full range of financial services tailored to meet your needs. We believe in giving back and being involved in the communities we serve. Stop into one of our 12 convenient locations or visit us at rollinghillsbank.com.
Olson's Outdoor Power is your one-stop service and equipment shop for all things outdoor. We sell the best power sports products in the business from Polaris, Can-Am, Sea-Doo, and Ski-Doo, trailers to tackle any job from H&H, Triton, and Wilson, and we continue to lead the way in lawn and garden equipment with great products from Exmark, Dixie Chopper, Husqvarna, Cub Cadet, Steel, and Echo. Add factory-trained technicians in 2 locations, and it's easy to see why Olson's Outdoor Power is the leader in all things outdoor. Olson's Outdoor Power, your one-stop service and equipment shop with locations in Atlantic and Carroll.
Welcome back to Atlantic. Carlisle up by the score of 2-0. Maddie McLaren, McKenna Sontag, and Adler Bruce will bat for the Trojans here in the bottom half of the third. Down a couple of runs. Here's the pitch by Logan Brown. Outside for a ball. Count 1-0. Maddie McLaren getting a chance to start out in right field for the Trojans, an 8th grader. A right-handed batter. He's only appeared at the plate 5 times. Just scored 5 runs. She's 1 for 5. Here's the pitch. High for a ball. 2-0 the count to Madison McLaren. Kenna Sontag is on deck. We'll get her first look at Logan Brown, as will Adler Bruce here in the bottom half of the third inning. Brown winds up and fires. There's a hot shot right back at her. Brown knocks it down, fires the first, and a 1-3, and McLaren is retired.
Down at first base.
And that'll bring up McKenna Sontag.
Number 1, McKenna.
She got a bat on it. That's half the battle.
7 straight retired by Brown after Wiederstein singled the first inning. 7 straight putouts by the pitcher Logan Brown. Nobody on, 1 out for Atlantic in the bottom of the third. 2-0 Wildcats. Here's the pitch. That's a strike outside corner. And the count goes to 0-1. McKenna Sontag, then Adler Bruce And back to the top of the order if the Trojans can keep it going here in their side of the third inning. Logan Brown in the circle for Carlisle gets the sign. Here's the pitch. That's a strike outside corner again. And the count is 0-2 to Sontag. McKenna started the doubleheader, hitting .318 of the year. Brown set to go with an 0-2 count. She'll wing it in. That was a ground ball. The whole right field base hit for Sontag. They'll throw to first, not in time. And McKenna gets a single in right field, and she picks up the second hit for Atlantic here in the ball game.
Gotta get on her horse.
And Adler Bruce will stand in the top of the order.
Hey, but she got the bat on the ball.
Well, it was a good piece of hitting because she went with a pitch.
Yeah,
went to the opposite field.
Yep.
1 on and 1 out for Atlantic. Sontag, the runner at first base. Here's Bruce. A right-handed batter for Atlantic. 2-0 Wildcats. We're in the bottom of the third inning. Brown with the pitch. Bunt shown. Sontag took off and goes back. That pitch high and away, and the count is 1-0 to Bruce. Right-handed hitter for Atlantic. Played left field in the matinee, and now playing center for Atlantic here in game number 2 for the Trojans. Game number 3 here in the Diamond here this evening. Here's the pitch. Bunt. Foul. Count 1-1. They throw down to first. A foul ball. Stutzman just getting some exercise there.
Might as well.
1 ball and 1 strike. Bruce, the batter, right-hander against the right-hander. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Bunt shown. There it is. A 1 down, the foul back, and the count goes to 1-2. Adler Bruce here in the bottom half of the third inning. Sontag back to first base. 1-2 the count. On deck is Lila Wiederstein, the leadoff batter for the Trojans. Should get an opportunity here with just 1 out. Bottom half of the third inning, and Logan Brown will step back in. She'll wind up. Here's the pitch, bunt, and it's fouled off. And that'll be it for Adler Bruce. Second strikeout for Atlantic on bunts. 2 down for the Trojans. Here in the bottom half of the third, and the top of the order, Lila Wiederstein will stand in. Wiederstein will be swinging away, Roger Warren.
Yep. Trust me. I understand.
She's due for a deep one, too. She has 4 home runs of the year. McKenna Sontag, the runner at first base for the Trojans.
She's got a big gap out there.
The pitch rolls in for a strike, and the count is 0-1. Yeah, they still play.
They're playing there, but you notice upon the pitch they moved her to center.
They're just a little close to the center field, but still, straight away is wide open for Wiederstein.
Hey, you're still not going to get there if she hits that gap.
Here's the 0-1 pitch coming in, outside, ball 1-1 the count to Lila. Lila makes contact. You look at her numbers this season, she struck out just twice on the year.
Well, she's usually pretty good about making contact with the ball.
1 ball and 1 strike. McKenna Sontag, the runner first, 2 down. Here's the pitch. Swung on, popped up. Second base person Heidemann is there, calling for it, makes the grab. And that's it for Atlantic. No runs, they got a hit. No errors, they left Sontag at first base. Through 3, 2-0 Wildcats. Back after these.
When it's time to think about trailers, think Olson's Outdoor Power with over a
First Windy Bank is the longest standing locally owned bank in Atlantic, and as such, we take pride in how we serve our community. For generations, we have been involved with our customers and their families by getting involved in community events and by supporting technology and teaching financial literacy in our schools. You'll also see our support of athletics on the scoreboards at home events. It's this involvement that allows us to know our customers and their families for generations. First Windy Bank, the only bank you'll ever need. Member F.
Have you ever heard the saying, people spend their life building wealth and neglecting their health, only to wish they could trade their wealth for better health at the end? This is Dr. Fritz Beyer, and it has now been over 30 years since my first chiropractic adjustment. I still get asked, do you get adjusted? Absolutely. I try to get adjusted at least once a month. I'm 47 now and still try to stay as active as ever. While I do get a few more aches and pains than when I was younger, it feels great to be able to step on the mat and help kids learning to wrestle. Chiropractic has helped me feel young enough to do it. If staying active is part of your future plans, call 254-BODY to get your body back to the basics.
for Atlantic. Third base is Schroeder, shortstop McLaren. Sontag at second and Satoff at first. Kirchhoff and Knuth the battery. And the pitch coming in to Claire Benson, swung on a hot shot right between the legs of Schroeder out in left field. And Benson reaches on an error here in the top of the fourth inning.
Benson moves to first base.
That was a hard hit ball in the hot corner, Roger, but still.
Number 50, Mallory Stutzman.
Mallory Stutzman will stand in with one on and nobody down. A leadoff hit for Benson as an error on the Trojans. Stutzman singled her last time up. She'll bat left side with one on, and that's Benson at first. 2-0. Carlisle with the lead here in the top of the fourth inning. Mallory Kirchhoff goes to work here, and the pitch on the way to Stutzman. That's a strike call. The count 0-1. Good pitch by Kirchhoff. I don't believe that's Bruce in center. We may have a change in center as well.
No, actually,
okay, Bruce.
Adler's in left.
Okay, she went from center to left.
Dylan's back over at right, and McLaren's in center.
So Maddie McLaren went to center. Interesting move by Coach Hinsman. 0-1 pitch, just missed the outside edge, 1-1 the count. They started with Madison McLaren in right, Bruce in center, and Ball in left. It's made a big change out there. We may have to ask him post-game.
Yep.
Here's the 1-1 pitch coming in. Swing and a miss. There goes the runner. Throw down to second base, not in time. And Benson with a stolen bag. Tell you what, Carlisle is good on the base paths. They've got Benson at second base. Nobody down here in the top of the fourth inning with a 2-0 lead. And Stutzman is the batter. Smith on deck. Kirchhoff gets the sign from Molly O'Hara. Eyes the glove of Knuth, and she'll wheel it in. Here it is, high for a ball. Go back to the pitcher. 0-2-2 the count to Stutzman. Stutzman hitting .300 coming into the game this evening. Not a lot of at-bats, just through 10. She was 3 for 10. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Good pitch by Kirchhoff. And that's a strikeout. Yep, first out of the inning. Kirchhoff with the K. Her second strikeout here in the ball game, and that'll bring up Ella Smith. Popped up to Wiederstein, the catcher at the time. First time up, the back of the second inning. We're the top of the fourth. Here's the pitch by Kirchhoff, high for a ball. Throw back over, gets away. And running to third base is Benson. She'll stand up, making a big swing. She's headed for home. The throw in, not in time. And Benson just kept on rolling, had the green light. And she went right through the intersection and scores for Carlisle, a 3-0 lead.
Yep.
On the error.
For the Wildcats, number 18, third baseman Ella Smith.
Ella Smith will step in. Nobody on, one out and one in here for Carlisle in the top of the fourth inning. They lead 3-0. Here's Smith. Right-handed hitter against Kirchhoff. And the pitch is on the way. Swung on, hit deep to right center. Back. It's going to bounce to the fence. Smith will round second base. She's got the green line, and she'll stride into third with a stand-up triple for the Wildcats here in the top of the fourth inning. That ball had a lot of air underneath it. Yep. Right center field, and she took advantage of it and went all three bags. And now runner at third for Carlisle with one out here in the top of the fourth inning and one in. Stoner will step in for the Wildcats with a runner at third base. Stoner ground out her last time up of the second inning. 3-0 in favor of the Wildcats. 3 runs and 5 hits. Here's the pitch on the way. Low for a ball.
Good dig.
Knuth getting some playing time tonight for Atlantic. Behind the plate. A lot of changes defensively, Roger
Right.
Warren. They shuffled the outfield, and then Wiederstein taken out to the defensive lineup. Knuth behind the plate catching. Kirchhoff will go back to work. The count is 1-0. Here's the pitch on the way. Bunt right back where it came from. Run scores, and the Stoner gets to first as well. And the wheels coming off just a little bit here.
To first base.
Yeah, you got to know where you're going with it.
Now the Wildcats up 4-0. Here comes Coach Hinsman. He's going to talk to his infield and his pitcher, Zoe Kirchhoff. Wildcats 4, Atlantic nothing. We're the top of the fourth inning. 1 out. We're back right after these.
All seem to be no one has time for a breakdown. So here's the key. Pay attention to the early.
At 2nd Street Auto, it's our mission to get you back on the road fast. And it all starts with free local towing. Once you're back at the shop, we talk you through your car repair with a free and fair estimate. We do everything in-house so you know who's working on your car. Our Hercules tires come with free road hazard repair, free rotation for the life of the tires, and a free alignment check. And nobody can beat our transmission rebuild and repair experts. Brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, preventative maintenance, and service work make 2nd Street your first stop.
Or just kick back and relax. The Super Bowl is where memories are made. Call Dan at 243-4656 to book your party today. The Super Bowl in Atlantic. Let the good times roll.
Welcome back to Atlantic. 4-0 Carlisle as we have 1 on and 1 out. Meeting over, here's the pitch. There's a strike on the outside corner, maybe or no? I thought he said strike. Parker Kane, the batter. Runner at first base, 1 out, and 2 in. Benson scoring, and Smith also scoring. Count is 1-0. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on, a hard hit ball to third. Knocked down by Schroeder. She'll fire to first. Saitoff with a squeeze. And there's 2 down. Schroeder, nice stop
play.
with a hot
Nice
shot.
Play. Yeah, you bet.
First base.
And hustle back to third base to cover it.
5-3 play by Clara Schroeder. Stoner at second base with 2 down. Here in the top of the 4th inning, 4-0 Wildcats. They beat Estherville Lincoln Central 11-2 in the game just prior to this. The Midgets beat Atlantic in the matinee 4-2. Here's Sears, the leadoff hitter for Carlisle with 1 on. Here's the pitch, high and away. Count is 1-0. Boy, Canute's got a nice arm, too. We talk a lot about a leader's team.
I tell you what, she's got a lot stronger in the last year.
1-0 the count to Sears. Freeman on deck for the Wildcats, top of the 4th inning. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled straight back. Count 1-1. Carlisle 2 hits in the frame. Atlantic with 2 errors. RBI singled by Stoner. Benson scored on an error.
It's interesting that every time the Carlisle hits a foul ball, they run to first. They run all the way to first.
The pitch, low and in. There goes the runner, throw to third. They're going to get her. Yep, they do. Canute with the gun. Down to Schroeder. She put the tag. And that'll be it. To Stoner thrown out at third base. Nice job by Canute on a 2-5. And that'll be it for the Wildcats. 4-0. We're through 3.5. Atlantic coming to bat here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. We're back right after these.
At Outfitters Plus in Atlantic, you'll find all the latest.
Cass Health in Atlantic, Iowa is a nationally recognized hospital, and we are proud of the awards and all of our recent accomplishments. But do you know what drives us to be the very best? You. We're passionate about helping our patients heal and feel their very best at any age and any stage of life. Cass Health. Neighbors caring for neighbors.
At Outfitters Plus in Atlantic, you'll find all the latest in custom apparel and headwear. Head to Outfitters and work with the design pros to make your customized tees, team apparel, and personalized swag for your business a reality. Whether it's fan apparel for your high school or youth sports teams, your business, or you just want to make something your own, you'll have everyone saying, "Where'd you get that?" Don't forget, Outfitters will also add your group store online to make ordering a breeze. Get personalized at Outfitters Plus outlets.
Because Claire Schroeder will lead off for the Trojans. Here in the bottom half of the 4th inning, Atlantic trailing 4-0. Looking for some base runners here. Schroeder, Kirchhoff, and Ball will bat 2, 3, and 4 for Atlantic. Schroeder struck out swinging first time up against Logan Brown. Brown with 2 strikeouts, no walks. Here's the pitch, swung on and missed. Schroeder going out that first pitch was kind of a rare occurrence here so far. 0-1 the count.
If you go after it, get a piece of it.
Kirchhoff on deck, ground out her first time up, and ball caught looking. Schroeder, the right-handed hitter, will stand in. Logan Brown has been clicking right along. Has pitched a two-hitter so far. Atlantic no runs and a couple of hits. Here's the pitch. Change up high and in. Wiederstein had that leadoff single the first inning, and Sontag had a single back in the third. Logan Brown will get set to throw it in. Schroeder, the batter, right-handed hitter for the Trojans. Here's the pitch coming in. That's outside for a ball. 2-1 in count to Claire Schroeder. Moved up from 8th to the second spot here in game 2. Before today's doubleheader, she was 7 of 25 from the plate. Leading off the 4th. Here's the pitch by Logan Brown on the way. Swung on and lifted foul. That'll leave the count up at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Schroeder. Kirchhoff on deck, and what a season she's had, hitting .625 before this doubleheader. She was 20 of 32 coming in. She scored 10 runs. She had 11 singles, 7 doubles, a couple of home runs, 18 RBI, which led the team. 2-2 pitch, outside, 3-2. Wildcats up 4-0 here in the contest, and again, that center field wide open. Schroeder back in, righty against righty here. Here's the pitch by Logan Brown. Swung on and popped up, playable foul territory. Over at first, Stoner makes the catch. 1 out. Pop up, and that'll bring up Kirchhoff.
Back for the Trojans, it's going to be number 3.
Kirchhoff ground out to third her first time up. We're the bottom half of the 4th. Wildcats up 4-0. Kirchhoff, a right-handed hitter, will step in. On deck is Dylan Ball, the cleanup batter for Atlantic. Logan Brown back to work for the Wildcats. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on, deep right center. Back to the wall. Kirchhoff will round first base and head for second. Looks for the signal at third. She gets the green light and heads for third base, and she'll slide in safely, awkwardly, and it was really a good slide because she's trying to avoid the throw that didn't get there. How about Kirchhoff on a stand-up or a sliding triple?
Sliding triple.
In Atlantic with a runner at third base. With 1 out here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. That was a great hit by Kirchhoff.
Absolutely. And right, just keep running.
Right center field.
And they were actually shifted over.
Yeah.
She just hit it deep enough to make it, get her triple.
Dylan Ball will stand in for the Trojans. Here's the pitch to Ball. Hot shot to second. Knocked down is second by Heidemann. And the Trojans scored the run. You betcha. Atlantic gets the run across. Ball with the RBI. A 4-3, and Ball gets the RBI, scoring Kirchhoff from third base. So Zoe, that triple, that'll squeeze the score to 4-1.
The shortstop.
2 down.
2 down here in the bottom half of the 4th and 1 in. McLaren at the plate as Kirchhoff scores and Ball's ground ball. Here's the pitch. High for a ball. The count is 1-0. Zoe Kirchhoff on a big hit, and on the season now, she hit her first triple. She had 7 doubles before that and gets her first triple of the season. 1-0 the count to McLaren. The pitch, high for a ball. 2-0 the counts. Nobody on, 2 down, and 1 in for the Trojans. And now we've got a timeout call by Coach Flaws. He wants to talk to his pitcher and the group. We'll take a timeout with them. We're back right after these.
Looking for the ultimate place to host your party? It's time to roll into the Super Bowl on Highway 71 in Atlantic, the place to celebrate birthdays, family nights, or even date nights. Glow Bowling lights up your Friday and Saturday nights. We've got bumpers and ramps for the kiddos, and plenty of lanes for the grown-ups' bragging rights. Whether you're here to compete or just kick back and relax, the Super Bowl is where memories are made. Call Dan at 243-4656 to book your party today. The Super Bowl in Atlantic. Let the good times roll.
Now the batter is Spade McLaren. The count is 2-0. Logan Brown in the circle. She'll fire it in. There's a line drive. Snagged by Stoner.
Nice connect. Nice play by first baseman.
Boy, she sizzled that one down the line.
She did sizzle that one.
Allie Stoner was there to make the grab, and that'll be it for Atlantic. They did get a run across. In this frame, 1 run on 1 hit, a triple by Zoe Kirchhoff. We're back right after these at 95.7 FM.
Gas prices got you down? Need a ride to work or the grocery store? There's public transportation for everyone in Southwest Iowa. SWITA offers taxi service in Atlantic, Glenwood, Harlan, Missouri Valley, Red Oak, and Shenandoah. $2.50 each way or $2 for seniors 60 years and older. Just call 1-800-842-8065 or visit swita.com to schedule your ride.
Welcome back. We go to the top of the 5th inning. It's a 4-1 game. Carlisle with the lead. And leading off for the Wildcats. Here we'll catch this. It's going to be Parker Kane, I believe.
28.
Nope, it's Rolling is going to bat here. Chloe Rolling will bat here for the Wildcats. 4-1. Carlisle, top of the 5th. Here's the pitch. Rolling bunt. Foul left side. Count goes to 0-1. Like on deck is Freeman. So Rolling batting for Sears here in the top of the 5th inning. 4-1 ball game. Carlisle scored a 1 in the first, a 1 in the third, and 2 in the fourth. The pitch to Chloe Rolling, another bunt down the third base line. Schroeder charges, gloves it, fires a one-hopper, and Rolling is safe. Ball gets away. She'll hustle to second. Here's the throw, not in time. And Rolling all the way down to second base for the Wildcats. Well, you give her a bunt single there, Roger Warren. I think she beat it out, but we'll give her a hit on that one here.
I think so.
1 on and nobody down. Here's
Rolling advanced to second base.
Freeman was
shortstop. Freeman.
So Freeman steps in, struck out and singled and scored a back in the 3rd inning. 1 on and nobody down for Carlisle. Top of the 5th, they're up 4-1. A single for Rolling here, batting for Sears. Here's the pitch, another bunt attempt. Here's a throw back to the circle. Rotation going. Schroeder was charging in from third. McLaren from short, covering third base. 1 ball and no strikes to Freeman. 1 for 2. Rolling in the runner at second base. And the pitch is on the way. Bunt popped up. Kirchhoff catch. Rolling stumbles back to second.
That's something that drives a coach crazy.
Brings in number 37.
Absolutely nuts.
What?
The pop-up bunts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because
absolutely.
it screws up the whole thing. Because you got somebody going, and then all of a sudden they get picked off.
So here comes Logan Brown at the plate to 1 on and 1 out. 4-1 Carlisle. We're the top of the 5th inning. Myra Heineman is on deck for the Wildcats. Here the top of the 5th. Kirchhoff wheels, deals, pitch, line drive center field. Madison McLaren makes the grab. Nice play by the 8th grader, and she quickly gets into the infield.
In center field.
So there's a 2 down for Carlisle, and Heineman will stand in. Myra 1 for 2. She singled a run in the 1st inning, singled home a run, and popped it up in the 3rd inning. Rolling the runner at second base. 1 on and 2 down. 4-1 Wildcats here in the top of number 5. Kirchhoff getting set. Here's the sign, and Kirchhoff wheels, deals, fires, swung on, popped up, shallow left. Adler Bruce has it, and that'll be it. Bruce is right there all the way, and that'll be it for Carlisle. They scored no runs. They got a hit. No errors. They left one. And we are through 4.5, and Carlisle with the lead, 4-1 over Atlantic. We're back right after these at 95.7 FM.
Stein delivers more new genetics faster. Our focus on delivering higher yielding genetics faster than the competition is why we have released more new Enlist E3 lines in the past 5 years than any other seed company. For elite genetics paired with simple, flexible, and effective weed control, plant Stein Enlist E3 soybeans. Stein has yield. 45 years of yield. Learn more at steinseed.com.
Get ready for a fresh start at Greg Young Atlantic. Our Greg Young Fresh Start program helps you hit the road with confidence, overcome credit challenges with personalized financing, and a wide selection of great vehicles. Visit us today to find your brand new Chevy, GMC, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram, or check out our huge pre-owned selection at GregYoungAtlantic.com and GregYoungCDJRAtlantic.com. And to apply. Don't miss out on this incredible offer. Here at Greg Young, we go the extra mile for you.
In the circle.
Just got to string a few hits together.
Here's Jillian Satoff. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Count 0-1. Satoff ground out to third. Her first time up. Her second time looking at Logan Brown. 4-1. Carlisle run in the first, a run in the third, 2 in the fourth. Atlantic's lone run came last frame. We're in the bottom half of the fifth inning. Pitch to Satoff. Swung on and missed. 0-2 the count. I got a piece of that. On a foul tip. Count goes to 0-2 to Jillian Satoff. Maddie McLaren and then McKenna Sontag to bat for the Trojans here in the bottom half of the fifth inning. Satoff back in, a right-handed batter against Logan and Brown, the right-handed hurler for the Wildcats. A sign by Stutzman. Here's the pitch on the way. Just missed outside. Good eye by Satoff. That one just missed the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I think he was thinking about it.
He might have been. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Here's the pitch. Swung on a high fly ball to right. That's going to be Sears' turn. Makes the catch. Sounded good early.
Then right field.
Got contact.
One out for Atlantic in the
center fielder for the Trojans.
Bottom half of the fifth inning. Here's Maddie McLaren. Ground out the pitcher. Her first time up. And it was a swing and a ground ball. We've had a number of bunts here. Both coaches going with a small ball. Carlisle beat Esterville Lincoln Central 11-2 in the game prior to this. This one here 4-1. Here's the pitch coming to Maddie McLaren. 8th grader looks at a strike and the count is 0-1. McLaren, a right-handed batter, went to, from right field to center field. In the top of this frame, here's the pitch coming from Logan Brown. The 0-1 offering is on its way. It's a strike call. Count goes to 0-2 to Maddie McLaren with nobody on and 1 out here in the bottom half of the fifth inning. On deck, McKenna Sontag, the senior. Brown will wind up and wing it in. Swung on and fouled off. You might have taken a little bit off that, Rancher.
A little bit, but you've seen one. Now you got to get to it.
Count, no balls and 2 strikes. McLaren, the 8th grader, will stand back in. Nobody on, 1 out for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the fifth inning. 4-1 Wildcats with the lead. Here's Logan Brown. Gets her sight in. There's the throw in. It's low for a ball. 1-2 the count. Brown had a strikeout of the first inning. She had a strikeout of the third. 2 strikeouts, and she has not walked a batter here in the game.
No.
1 ball and 2 strikes, 1 out. Here's the pitch on the way. That's inside, gets away, 2-2 the count.
She's got pretty good control on it. But
Brown, the senior for Carlisle. They're ranked 5th in Class 4A. They play a tough schedule. They've lost 2 games. One to Bondurant Farrar, the other to North Polk. 2-2 the count. Here's the pitch. Inside, ball 3. What a good job by the freshman here. Just really a good eye. And she moves the count full at 3-2. Time is called as Stutzman's going to go out and talk to her. 3 balls and 2 strikes here for Logan Brown to Maddie McLaren. We looked at schedule here for Carlisle. The North Polk topped the Wildcats 5-0 in the opener May 28th, and then they beat Indianola 4-3. They beat Moravia 22-0. They beat Central 8 13-0. Centerville 6-2. Lost by 2 runs to Bondurant Farrar, but then beat him in the nightcap 8-7. Ground ball fouled back. Carlisle beat ADM 8-6, so they shut out Prairie City Monroe 7-0, and beat Esterville Lincoln Central here this afternoon 11-2. 3 balls and 2 strikes to McLaren. A good at bat for the youngster here for Atlantic. 4-1. Wildcats will lead. We're in the bottom half of the 5th. And the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. And Brown comes back.
She's been battling so hard.
She did.
That was a good pitch. There's no doubt about that.
Nice pitch by Logan Brown. Both of them battling. McLaren and Brown. The senior got the best over there, but give McLaren credit. Here's McKenna Sontag. She singled the first time up.
Pitched 9 or 10 pitches. So.
Yeah. Sontag getting well over 300 before this evening. She had a hit against Esterville Lincoln Central as well. That pitch is high. And the count is 1-0 to Sontag with Adler Bruce on deck. Carlisle 4-1 over Atlantic. We're in the bottom half of the 5th. Nobody on and 2 down for the Trojans. Logan Brown will step back in. Again, that big gap in center. Here's the pitch to McKenna Sontag. Tips that one foul. The count is 1-1.
Yeah, she told me she's going to have a big old bruise from the first game.
Yeah.
Cut her arm pretty well on that foul tip.
You wouldn't have known it, though. She didn't even wince. Didn't rub any dirt on it either.
No, that's right.
1-1 the count.
That's an old Barnesy quote.
I know it. Here's the pitch. Inside for ball. The count is 2-1. Sontag hitting .318 before this one, and she'll elevate that average. A couple of RBI in the season, 3 doubles, and 4 singles before today. 2-1 the count to the senior. Here's the pitch. It's a strike, 2-2 the count. Right on the outside edge. A little elevation to it. 2 balls and 2 strikes to McKenna Sontag. Base is clean for Atlantic. They need a base runner.
I don't think Terry agreed with that one.
I don't think so. 4-1. Wildcats 2 down. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled off. Sontag stays alive. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, that big gap in center field wide open as Kane playing towards Sears and right. Then Eggenauer straight away and left. 2-2 the count. Here's the pitch to Sontag. Swung on and popped up. And the catcher, Stutzman, makes the grab. 3 up and 3 down for Atlantic in the bottom half of the 5th inning. It's a 4-1 Wildcat lead. We'll go to the 6th. We're back right after these.
Our mission is to be... At Oak Point Wealth Management, we're embracing new changes to better serve you. As an independent wealth manager, I'm excited to partner with LPL Financial, bringing you comprehensive tools and resources backed by personalized service and dynamic technology. My focus remains on helping you achieve your financial goals with integrity and care. Visit oakpointwealth.com or call me, Erin Friend, at 712-207-3521 to learn more.
Visit www.oakpointwealth.com, 712-207-3521 to learn more about how Oak Point Wealth Management can help you pursue your financial goals.
Atlantic Ag and Auto, your locally owned CarQuest Auto Parts store, is seeking help to fill a part-time or possibly full-time position. While experience in retail parts is preferred, it is not a deal breaker. The ideal candidate should have entry-level computer skills and be comfortable working with the public and having some fun while doing it. If you have excellent customer service skills, a valid driver's license, and a history of reliability, we would like to hear from you. Atlantic Ag and Auto is an equal opportunity employer located at 716 West 7th Street here in Atlantic.
Kirchhoff brings the pitch in, rolls in for a ball. The count is 1-0. Kirchhoff has 1 walk here so far, a strikeout in the first inning. Is 1 strikeout so far in the game and 1 walk for Atlantic. Wildcats have 2, 4, 6, 7 hits. The pitch, there's a deep fly ball right at Adler Bruce. She backpedals and misjudged it. Over her head it goes. Benson will roll to second base and a stand-up hit, and boy, what do you give there? I think Adler might have misjudged that play.
It got out there in a hurry, and it got over her head. Yep, that's a base hit.
Base hit for Benson. One on, in fact, a two-bagger for Benson, a double. And here's Stutzman at the plate, to singled and struck out. So 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 hits now for the Wildcats. One on, nobody down, top of the sixth, a 4-1 lead. Here's the pitch and the bunt shown. Pulled back, but a strike called. 0-1 the count. Ella Smith with the pop-up in the second. And Stutzman, the single in the second and struck out in the fourth. I looked at Ella Smith's line. She had that triple and scored in the fourth inning. Here's the pitch, a bunt. Nice one. Schroeder charges. She'll fire, gets the out at first. And
Good
on
play.
to third goes Benson.
Way to execute.
Yeah, Schroeder's done a nice job.
I'll tell you what, they're laying down a really good bunts because she's got to come a long ways.
She had a nice gun over to Satoff at first. I'm not sure. No, I think McKenna might have been covering that play.
Yeah,
Coach Hinsman calling a timeout here with Benson, the runner at third base, and Smith to come to the plate. Smith popped up in the second and had that triple back in the fourth and scored on Mally Stoner's single. We're in the top of the sixth inning, and it's a 4-1 game in favor of the Wildcats. 4 runs and 8 hits.
Well, I would imagine what Terry's talking about right now is the fact that there's only one out.
Right.
They got that gal on third base. Guess what's coming? They're going to bunt her in. So we've got to play this right and see if we can keep the score or keep the run from scoring at a minimum. You know, sometimes that's not the case. You just got to make the play.
He's pretty animated out there, Roger Warren, so I'm sure he's get things set up. Wildcats scored a run in the first and 1 run in the third. They scored 2 in the fourth. Atlantic's run came in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Coach still out there with his group. And now home plate umpire is saying, okay.
Had enough.
Coach is still, he's going to, there he goes, back in. So he's going to head back to dugout. Knuth, the catcher for Atlantic. And here we go with Ella Smith batting 1 for 2. Benson at third base. She had that double. And she's at third for the Wildcats. They need 4-1 with the top of the sixth inning. 1 on and 1 out. So here's Smith with Stoner on deck. Stoner had a single in the fourth inning and drove in a run. Here's the pitch on the way by Kirchhoff. Smith, the righty, looks at a pitch on the outside edge for a strike. Count 0-1. As Claire Benson stands at third base after that double. Oh, 0-1 the count. Kirchhoff a long look into the first base dugout. Ella Smith at the plate. Here's the pitch on the way to Smith. That's high. A strike called, I should say. Right there at the letters.
I agree with you, Tom.
0-2 the count to Ella Smith. Stoner on deck. Runner at third is Benson. Kirchhoff in the circle. Here's the 0-2 offering to Ella Smith, and it is high for a ball. Now the count of 1-2 to Smith. Benson with that extra base hit stands at third base. That was her third double of the season for Benson. 1 ball and 2 strikes, so the count to Ella Smith. Here's Kirchhoff, wings it in, half swing, and a foul ball, I believe he's calling.
Yep.
That's the case. So back to third goes Benson. Smith back to plate. A runner at third and 1 out. 4-1 Wildcats. Kirchhoff in the circle with the top of the sixth inning. Smith at the plate for Carlisle. Here's the pitch. Change up is called. Strike 3, a beauty by Kirchhoff.
That was a beauty. It just froze. It froze the batter. She going like,
yeah.
I just couldn't do anything.
So here comes Mally Stoner to the plate with 1 on and 2 down. 4-1 Wildcats with the lead. Atlantic trying to get out of this unscathed. The runner at third base. The pitch. That's a strike. The Stoner ground out and singled and scored a run in the fourth, or drove in a run, I should say, in the fourth inning.
Yep.
4-1. We're in the bottom, top of the sixth inning. Zoe Kirchhoff winds her up. Here's the pitch coming high for a ball. 1-1. Benson back to third base. Stoner, the eighth hitter in the Wildcat lineup. 1 for 2. Right against righty here. Stoney, a right-handed batter. Kirchhoff will go to work. 1 ball and 1 strike. Benson at third base. 2 down. Here's the 1-1 offering. Rolls in, gets away. Here comes Benson. She'll slide in safely. And Carlisle plates the 5th run. 5-1 Wildcats as Benson scores on the pass ball.
Yeah, I don't think Olivia had a chance on that because it hit the front of the plate and bounced right up over the top of her.
So Stoner at the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike on the wild pitch, I should say. And here we go, Stoner. Here's the pitch on the way. Just missed outside. 2 balls and a strike. I believe it's 3-1. Now it's a hitter's count for Stoner. 3 balls and a strike. Nobody on, 2 down and 1 in for the Wildcats. They lead 5-1 over Atlantic here at the top of the 6th. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on and fouled straight back. Yeah, Knuth cut off the screen there. Olivia Knuth for Atlantic catching. I don't think she's had an at-bat this year for the Trojans.
She will have in the next, at the end of this hit.
She will be up.
She'll be number 1.
At the end of this frame. Count 3-2 to Mally Stoner. Here's the pitch. Ball 4 as Kirchhoff walks Stoner. Now 1 on and 2 down, 1 in. Parker Kane is scheduled to bat.
For the Wildcats, number 22, center fielder, Parker
Kane, the center fielder. We call it the Rover, playing right center here this evening. Knuth going to head out and talk to Kirchhoff here in the top of the 6th inning. 5-1 is the score. Oates is going to run at first base. Knuth having a chat with Kirchhoff in the circle. We'll do a recap. The Wildcats scored a run in the first inning, a walk by Brown. She scored on Heideman's RBI single. In the third, it was Freeman getting a single. She was driven home by Logan Brown to make it 2-0. 2 more runs in the 4th inning. The RBI by Stoner. And the run here in the 5th. It's 5-1. 1 on and 2 down. Top of the 6th inning. Kane, the batter, lefty. Kirchhoff sends it in. Bunt, miss, strike called. And the count is 0-1.
It's interesting. She's going to take the first 2 swings from the left side.
To see if she can lay down a bunt. She's that close to the first base.
I don't think she's going to bunt. I think she's going to decoy it, but I've been wrong before.
We'll see here. 0-1. Well, that's what she did the first time, Roger.
Right.
Here's the 0-1 pitch on the way. Swung on and tapped right back to pitcher Kirchhoff. She'll launch one to first and gets the out. And that'll be it as Parker grounds out to the pitcher Kirchhoff. But the Wildcats get an insurance run. They scored 1 run on 1 hit. That was a double by Clara Benson, and she ended up scoring. And the Trojans had no errors, and 1 was left. We had the bottom half of the 6th. Wildcats 5, Atlantic nothing. We're back right after these.
Spend their life building wealth and neglecting their health, only to wish they could trade their wealth for better health at the end. This is Dr.
Hey there, this is Tanner from your Atlantic Hy-Vee, and I've got some exciting news to share. Thanks to your feedback, we're currently rated the friendliest Hy-Vee in the entire company. That's a huge honor, and on behalf of the whole team, thank you to everyone who's taken time to share their thoughts. Did you know you can leave feedback too? Just check the link on the bottom of your Hy-Vee receipt or in your email after a purchase. Whether it's a compliment or constructive criticism, I love reading our surveys and making sure we're always improving. And as always, thank you for shopping your Atlantic Hy-Vee.
When you're on the go, it's all about convenience. At Fantastic Food, Beverages, plus BP Superior Fuels, and you have Olson's BP in Atlantic. From sunup to sundown, we're the keep-you-going store. From our loaded breakfast burritos and Bunker Dunker donuts to our delicious Champs Chicken and Pizza to go, we have the food you crave. Don't forget the cold beer in the Beer Cave. Stop in and fill her up. There's always something you need at Olson's BP, the keep-you-going store, 2nd and Locust in Atlantic.
Identification. We're back right after this.
95.7 is KSWI Atlantic, a proud part of Meredith Communications. KS 95.7.
So Mally Stoner will be in the circle now for Carlisle. Stoner 3-1 of the year. 26 innings pitched so far in the season. Teams have hit 248 against her. She's allowed 16 runs and 26 hits, walked 4, hit a couple of batters, struck out 25. An ERA for the right-hander of 2.89. She's a junior. So Stoner in the circle. And we are in the bottom half of the 6th inning, 5-1. Carlisle with the advantage here over the Trojans.
Bryn Lamp's up.
Bryn Lamp will bat in that ninth spot, looks at a strike. And the count is 0-1 to Lamp. Then back to the top of the order. You're in the bottom of the 6th inning. It's a 5-1 lead for Carlisle as Mally Stoner now in the circle for the Wildcats. That pitch is swung on and missed, 0-2.
Good cut.
Come on, Bryn, you got it.
Real good cut for Bryn Lamp, who's also pitched for the Trojans this season. Bryn Lamp, before this game, had only one at bat. 0-2 the count to Lamp, and Stoner with the sign. Here's the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss and a strikeout for Stoner. Good way to get started.
Well, she got her cuts in. Let's put it that way.
Strikeout by Lamp will bring in number 21, Reese Ball.
So Reese Ball will bat for Wiederstein here in the bottom half of the 6th. Ball, the left-handed hitter. Reese just an 8th grader. She's only had one at bat this season as well, but she scored a couple of runs as a pinch runner. She does have a hit, though. And she'll bat here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. 5-1 Wildcats. 5 runs on 8 hits for Carlisle. They play shallow. Look at that infield in on Reese Ball. Batting for Wiederstein here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Here's the pitch on the way, and it is swung on, half-swing strike, and the count 0-1. Even in the outfield, they play way in on Reese Ball. Third base person, you've got Smith about a third of the way down the line at third. The shortstop, Freeman, also playing up as well. There's a ground ball, and Freeman grabs it at short, fires the first. There you go. They're placed just right. Reese Ball makes contact. That's one thing for the youngster.
You bet.
Freeman playing in and made the play.
Claire Schroeder.
And that was a 6-3. Schroeder, the batter for Atlantic. Struck out and popped up. Nobody on, 2 down for the Trojans. Bottom half of the 6th. They're down 5-1. And Schroeder at the plate. The new pitcher is Mally Stoner. And she's set to go. They deepen up a little bit on Schroeder. She'll swing and foul tip. 0-1 the count. Outfield is still playing shallow and still leaning towards that right center field with a big gap in center field and left center. No balls and a strike to Schroeder. Then Kirchhoff is on deck. The pitch swung on and fouled back. Stoner ahead 0-2 as she retired the leadoff batter on the strikeout and then struck out forced Reese Ball to ground out for 2 down. Here's Schroeder at the plate. Right-handed batter, Mally Stoner, 0-2 the count. Nobody on and 2 down. Bottom of 6th, here's the pitch. Change-up is just outside for ball.
Yep.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Schroeder here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Schroeder will stand back in. 5-1, Wildcats with the lead. And the pitch is on the way, inside for ball, 2-2. The counts to Schroeder. I think just a couple of hits. Wiederstein had a single back in the first, triple by Kirchhoff in the fourth. Sontag had a single in the third. Atlantic with 3 hits in the ball game. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on and lifted foul right side out of play. Cal remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. So that tournament tomorrow will be Esterville, Lincoln Central, Atlantic, and Carlisle. And the 4th team, I think Riverside or
Well, it's not Carlisle.
Carlisle was not playing.
It's Riverside and
Exira HK Audubon.
Exira EHK
Riverside is there.
Yep.
And ELC. The pitch
Yes.
lifted foul again. So I know Atlantic was scheduled to play Riverside and Exira HK Audubon.
Correct.
You think they may play 3? Or
that's what makes sense to me is you play 3 games, but you've also got, you play 3 games. You never play 3 games during the year.
That's true. The pitch, swing, and she went. Stoner retires the side, 1-2-3. And the Trojans go down in order in the 6th inning. We go to the top of the 7th. Carlisle with a 5-1 lead, and we're back right after these on 95.7 FM on our live video stream, WesternIowaToday.com.
When you're on the go, it's all about convenience. At fantastic food, beverages, plus BP Superior Fuels, and you have Olson's BP in Atlantic. From sunup to sundown, we're the keep-you-going store. From our loaded breakfast burritos and Bunker Dunker donuts to our delicious Champs Chicken and Pizza to go, we have the food you crave. Don't forget the cold beer in the beer cave. Stop in and fill her up. There's always something you need at Olson's BP, the keep-you-going store, 2nd and Locust in Atlantic.
At Seed Pros, our mission is to be your business partner every day of every season.
Pioneer Hybrid International was founded in Iowa back in 1926 and is still American today. Not many other seed providers can make that claim.
We partner with you to continually push the limits by combining elite seed genetics, local infield knowledge, along with customer service second to none.
We are with you from the word go. Contact Mark Van Tiger, Gary Dinkla, Nick Knutson, or John Becker to partner with a team that puts your business needs first.
Back to Atlantic. We go to the top of the 7th inning is Carlisle leading 5-1 in the ball game, and see if they bring the plate here for Coach Flaws. 3 games here on this diamond tonight.
Addison Sears.
Addison Sears will step in the top of the 7th inning. Leadoff batter. And Kirchhoff has gone the distance for Atlantic. Now Sears calls timeout and heads down the third base line. Sears is re-entering the game, and it's going to be the case. So Sears has batted 3 times. Flew out, popped up, single to the 5th. Here's the pitch. Right, cold, nice pitch by Kirchhoff. Count 0-1. Alyssa Freeman is on deck, and then Logan Brown. We'll see if she bats. It'll probably be Stoner. Although Stoner bats in the 8th spot. We'll see who they put in for Brown. Here's the 0-1 pitch on the way. That's a strike inside edge. Nice pitch by Kirchhoff.
Oh.
5-1 Carlisle.
No, I tell you what, she hasn't pitched too bad a ball game.
No, she hasn't. And Carlisle had a hit in the first inning, won the second. Back-to-back twos, a third and fourth, a hit in the 5th and 6th. They scored 1 run in the first. That pitch is a ball, 1 ball and 2 strikes. They scored a run in the third. 2 in the 4th. They played it 1 in the 6th inning. 5-1 Carlisle. Kirchhoff brings the 1-2 pitch on the way. Changeup is popped up.
You'd have to hustle.
Playable for the shortstop. McLaren makes the grab.
Made by the shortstop.
1 out here at the top of the 7th inning. And here comes Freeman.
I tell you what, this gal's impressed me. Playing shortstop, she's fast. Tell you what, if you noticed her on the base paths, she's got speed.
Yeah.
I mean, just blazing speed.
Yeah, and she has an arm, too, at that shortstop.
Oh, my God, yes.
The pitch to Freeman. That's a strike outside corner. Nice pitch by Kirchhoff.
I think she's one of those gals that's just got so much confidence in the way she plays that that's why she's a great player.
0-1 pitch. Swung on. A pop-up. The shallow says going to drop in for a base hit. Well, you talked about Freeman, and she picks up her second hit of the ball game. She's 2 for 4 and singles into center field. And the Wildcats have 1 on and 1 out here at the top of the 7th at a 5-1 lead. And so the batter will be Logan Brown. No, check that. It will not be Logan Brown.
No.
Hitting will be Amare Lafayette Brown. Amare Lafayette Brown.
Okay. Number 19.
Lafayette Brown. Here's the pitch. Brown looks at a strike. There's a throw down to second base. Not in time. And the tag attempt by Sontag, and the runner able to slide underneath. Freeman gets a stolen base. Again, Knuth, not a bad arm. Winged it down there. And good jump by Freeman. A good speed, as you mentioned. She can leg it out.
Actually, the throw was in time. He just didn't make the grab.
Yeah.
I think she might have been out if he would have hung on to it.
1 ball and no strikes to the hitter, Amare Lafayette Brown. Second base, Freeman. Now we got a timeout called, and Coach Hinsman's going to go out and talk to
they
his
put her on
infield.
the right side.
Yeah,
it makes it difficult to see her take off running.
Well, I didn't know whether I had a mental lapse or what there, but I could have swore she started on the left side.
Yeah, she did.
And then she comes back, and we've seen that with a number of hitters.
Yes, and a lot of it's pertaining to the people on the bag running, because if you're on first base and you've got a person in the left side, you can't see them as quick. You're actually hiding them. That's kind of what happened to that one College World Series games where the gal was blocking the view of the catcher. She threw it back to the pitcher, and the gal slid right underneath her.
Coach Hinsman's still animated out there directing his defense. 5-1, Carlisle with the lead. We're at the top of the 7th. 1 out for the Wildcats, and the runner at second is Freeman. The batter is Amare Lafayette Brown, the senior, who started on the left side, then went to the right side, and Coach Hinsman's still out there with his crew. Now he's done, and we'll see what they do here with Lafayette Brown.
Well, we don't have the mound visit scoreboard up there like that. I went to the Red Sox game here 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yes,
and
you did.
They have mound visit up on the so.
Lafayette Brown will stand in now from the right side of the plate. Freeman is second at base. 1 out for Carlisle, top of the 7th. Here's the pitch. There's a throw to third of the steal attempt. It gets back into the outfield. Freeman will score easily. It's 6-1 in favor of Carlisle. So Freeman, who singled,
Freeman runs it in.
comes in,
6-1 in favor
makes
of
it a
Wildcats.
6-1 ball game, and now the base is empty for Lafayette Brown here in the top of the 7th. 6-1 ball game. Lafayette Brown, a right-handed hitter. Kirchhoff goes back to work. On deck is Heidemann. Here's the pitch on the way. That's low and in. 2 balls and a strike. We're at the top of the 7th inning. Start at 3:30 this afternoon, Atlantic and ELC. Ashtabula Lincoln Central, they won that one 4-2 with 2 runs at the top of the 7th to break in time. Then Carlisle all over ELC in the game prior to this, 11-2 in shortened innings. That pitch is swung on and missed, 2-2 the count. And the tournament tomorrow. Our next broadcast will be Tuesday, right back here in Atlantic. It's Hall of Fame night on Tuesday, Atlantic and Creston, as the Trojans try to get some revenge on the Panthers. That pitch is lined out to right field. That's a base hit for Lafayette Brown, and she's going to go to second base with a stand-up double. She went with a pitch with the opposite way to right field.
That was a good hit.
2 hits now for the Wildcats here at the top of the 7th, and they have a 6-1 lead, and here comes Heidemann to the plate. Nope, no check that. We're going to have a pinch hitter. It's going to be Marcella Krambeck will bat. We'll have a runner at second base is Cameron Hoffman. So Hoffman at second.
That bat for the Wildcats.
It'll be Krambeck to bat.
Krambeck.
So Coach Flaws getting in some players here with 1 on and 1 out at the top of the 7th and a 6-1 lead. And Krambeck will step to the plate for Carlisle. So they get the changes made here in the top of the 7th inning. Carlisle playing a run in the first. They played it 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth, 1 in the 6th, and 1 here in the top half of the 7th. Hoffman, the runner, Here's the pitch on the way. Strike, Cole. Cameron Hoppin Jr. running at second base for LaFollette Brown, who pitched it for Logan Brown. And now Crambeck hitting here for Heidemann. There's the pitch. That's the ball. The count is 1-1. Game getting close to 2 hours old here. Started around 7:30. 1-1 the count. Kirchhoff going back to work for the Trojans. And here's the pitch coming in. That's the ball low. Hoppin at second base for Carlisle. 2 balls and a strike to count to Crambeck, a right-handed hitter for the Wildcats. Kirchhoff set to go. Here's the pitch. Swung on, popped up, sky high. Shortstop McLaren, eye to the sky, and she grabs it. And there's 2 down for Carlisle, top of the 7th. So we'll see who bats now for the Wildcats.
27.
Now bring in Alyssa Eganor of the Wildcats.
So Alyssa Eganauer will bat here, the left-handed hitter for Carlisle, with 1 on, 2 down, and 1 in. Here at the top of the 7th inning. So again, we go through the change in the lineup. Home plate umpire has it written down. A lot of new faces batting for the Wildcats here at the top of the 7th inning. Eganauer will stand in, a left-handed hitter for Carlisle. Here's the pitch on the way from Kirchhoff. Hoppin runner at second base. Here it is. That's a strike. Count 0-1. 2 down. Top of the 7th. I think down 6-1.
The batteries ran out on the scoreboard.
What?
It's been on all day, so that would make sense.
Oh, and out in the outfield?
Yeah, the control board.
Oh, okay.
The control in here is battery powered.
You don't have a plug in there, huh? Tapper foul. 0-2 the count. 1 on and 2 down. Wildcats, top of the 7th, 6-1. Eganauer, the batter for Carlisle, a left-handed hitter. This is her first at bat this season. She's played in 8 games. She chokes up on the bat. Here's the 0-2 pitch, high and away. 1-2 the count with a runner at second base. Thinking Hensman might throw Ren Lamp tomorrow in that tournament. We'll see. Both Kirchhoff and McLaren went the distance for the Trojans here tonight. Line drive, base hit. That'll bring home a run. Hoffman will round third and races towards home. It's a 7-1 game.
Hoffman Bryant runs in. Off the
So after LaFollette Brown with the double, and then a nice single by Eganauer.
That's Mallory Stutzman.
And that'll bring up the Stutzman, who singled, struck out, and ground out for Carlisle. Top of the 7th inning, they're up 7-1, picking up 2 insurance runs here in the frame, 1 on and 2 down. Here's the pitch. Swung on. Bay towards Sontag at second. She's going to throw to first in time. Good job by Sontag over to Satoff.
Boy, that sucker hit the ground and died.
It died.
It just died.
It looked to me like it had a little more steam on it. Then it just went flat, and Sontag able to get it quickly over to first base. The Wildcats scored 2 runs on 3 hits in the frame. Atlantic has some work to do going in the bottom of the 7th inning. They're down 7-1. We're back right after these on 95.7 FM and our live video stream, Western Iowa.
At Rolling Hills Bank and Trust, we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We've been dedicated to our communities for over 35 years. From real estate and ag loans to personal and commercial banking, we offer a full range of financial services tailored to meet your needs. We believe in giving back and being involved in the communities we serve. Stop into one of our 12 convenient locations or visit us at rollinghillsbank.com.
Olson's Outdoor Power is your one-stop service and equipment shop for all things outdoor. We sell the best power sports products in the business, from Polaris, Can-Am, Sea-Doo, and Ski-Doo, trailers to tackle any job from H&H, Triton, and Wilson, and we continue to lead the way in lawn and garden equipment with great products from Exmark, Dixie Chopper, Husqvarna, Cub Cadet, Steel, and Echo. Add factory-trained technicians in 2 locations, and it's easy to see why Olson's Outdoor Power is the leader in all things outdoor. Olson's Outdoor Power, your one-stop service and equipment shop with locations in Atlantic and Carroll.
Goes to Bowman, now in the circle for the Wildcats with a 7-1 lead. Atlantic coming up in the bottom half of this 7th inning. Estella Bauman, no record. She has played in 1 game. She's pitched 1 inning, and she allowed 1 hit in that frame, struck out 1 batter, so not a lot of experience for Bowman, the 8th grader, but she's going to get a shot here in the bottom half of the 7th. See if Atlantic can get something going here. Rich Kirchhoff will lead it off.
Well, at least make it interesting.
You're right, yes.
Up to bat for the Trojans, number 3, Zoe Kirchhoff.
So Zoe Kirchhoff will stand in, then Dylan Ball and Pate McLaren. They're scheduled to bat for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the 7th, down 7-1. Trojans' only run coming in the 4th inning. That was a triple by Kirchhoff. She scored on Ball's RBI ground ball. Bauman in the circle, she'll bring it. That one's in some, she's got some speed on it. She wings it in pretty good. 1-0 the count, though, the ball inside to Kirchhoff. This will make this youngster throw a little bit here in the bottom half of the 7th. 1 ball and no strikes, so Bauman looks in. And here's the 1-0 pitch on the way to Kirchhoff, and it's fouled off. Boy, she's got good speed on that pitch. That was inside, and Kirchhoff
Zoe wanted that one back.
1-1 the count, probably not in the strike zone. Kirchhoff, Ball, and McLaren here batting in the bottom half of the 7th inning. 7-1 Wildcats with the lead. Bowman in the circle, and count is 1-1 to Zoe Kirchhoff here in the bottom half of number 7. Here's the pitch, swung on and fouled straight back into the stands. And the count goes to 1-2 to Kirchhoff, the junior. Ground out, and she had that triple in the 4th inning. She's 1 for 2. Batting over 600 coming into the game. She was batting 707 when we did the game in Harlan on Monday.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. 1-2 the count. Bauman getting set. Now they're going to play Kirchhoff straight away. Here's the pitch. Changeup outside for a ball. 2-2 the count. So they shifted last minute.
Well,
Kane went from right center to center field.
I think what Coach may be calling is if he's calling a pitch that's a little slower, everybody knows it, so you've got a chance of getting around on it.
Here's the 2-2 offering to Zoe Kirchhoff. Landing down 7-1. Here's the pitch coming. There's a ground ball foul.
Because if she's going to wing it, they're not moving.
But I don't think she throws that much slower than the last 2, Roger.
Well, yeah, but the last one, she threw that changeup. That's when they slid.
Okay. And they are covering more towards center now. Kane is towards center field. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Kirchhoff.
If she doesn't start to move, she's going to wing it.
Here's the pitch on the way by Bauman. She'll wind her up. Here it is. Swung on and fouled back. Kirchhoff with a good bat. Fouling straight back over the net. See what she can do here. She's getting her timing down. First look here, obviously, at the young pitcher, the 8th grader, Bauman. Still that gap in left center.
Oh, yeah.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Kirchhoff leading off the bottom half of the 7th. Now they shift back to the center straightaway. Kane back straightaway center. Here's the pitch. Change is lifted high down the left side, and it is going to drift foul.
That was a changeup.
Yes, you know that
she moved.
Yep.
I don't know.
No, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. Both has been changeups. So Kane will line up in right center field, and let's see if she stays there. You can about call the pitch from here, as you have been.
Well, I don't know about placement, but I know about speed.
So she's
been pretty consistent. If she stays there, she's going to wing it.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Bauman back to work. Now Kane at right center field, and she'll bring the pitch in. Here's the 2-2. Swung on and down the left field line foul. Kirchhoff, that's tough at bat here in the bottom half of the 7th inning.
Well, what are we up to? Maybe 8, 9
I think
pitches?
so. Bauman, her first appearance here. And she, like I mentioned, had one inning of work so far this season. 2-2 the count to Kirchhoff, leading off the bottom half of the seventh. Atlantic down 7-1. And here's the pitch on the way. Swung on and fouled back again.
She's about getting one inning of work and one pit and one batter.
Still 2-2 the count. What you can do here. La Follette Brown is playing third, I believe. We've got a number of changes here. Yeah. Nope, that's Crambeck at third.
Yeah, La Follette Brown's playing first base.
Thank you. And at third base is Crambeck. Here's the 2-2 pitch. We'll see if Kirchhoff can straighten one out here. Here it is. Outside for a ball. A changeup.
Yep.
You see the center fielder went to left center almost.
Well, I mean, I understand the philosophy because if you're going to get around on the changeup, you're going to be able to go.
3 balls and 2 strikes to Kirchhoff. Bauman looks in. Here's the pitch coming in to Zoe Kirchhoff here in the bottom half of the seventh, and it is swung on and missed. After all that, Bauman wins the battle with a strikeout, and that'll bring up Dylan Ball.
Next up to bat for the Trojans, number 10.
And that was
Dylan
not
Ball.
anything fancy, just a fastball.
Oh, yeah, but
maybe Zoe was trying to guess whether it's going to be a fastball or a change. 1 out for Atlantic in the bottom of the seventh inning, down 7-1. Here comes Dylan Ball, struck out looking and ground out of the fourth inning. Just her third plate appearance here in this one, landing down 7-1. Here's Bauman for Carlisle. Here's the pitch coming in. That's inside for Ball. The count is 1-0. Again, Bauman only 1 inning pitch so far this season. On deck for Atlantic is Peyton McLaren here in the bottom half of the seventh inning. All up 7-1. 8-2 on the season. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Coming in, Dylan Ball, the cleanup hitter for Atlantic. That's high and away. 2-0 the count to Ball. Jillian. No, Satoff Bass is 6th spot. McLaren is on deck. Jillian Satoff still a dugout. May get a chance to bat here. Nobody on him. 1 out for Atlantic. 2-0 the count to Dylan Ball, the left fielder. Bauman goes back to work, and the 2-0 offering is on the way. Here it is. Swung on a chopper to third. Snagged by Crambeck, but she has no play.
But that was a heck of a snag.
That was a heck of a snag and an infield single for Dylan Ball.
That probably saved extra bases.
Yeah, absolutely. That ball took a wicked hop, and Crambeck with good height able to reach up and snag it and keep it in the infield, but had no play. Ball with good speed down the line. Atlantic 1 on and 1 out. Here in the bottom half of the seventh, down 7-1. Here's McLaren. Bauman back in the circle. She had a strikeout to leadoff batter Kirchhoff here in the frame. Bauman looks and fires. Outside, ball 1. 1 of the count. On deck, Jillian Satoff. Satoff ground out and flew out to right field. McLaren popped up and lined out to that first base person, Stoner, who also pitched some for Carlisle. And the pitch is coming in. Bauman. And here it is. Swung on and popped up.
I think that's going to get.
That's going to be called. It almost caught by the catcher. Off her glove, Stutzman. Count goes to 1-1 with 1 on and 1 out for Atlantic in the bottom half of the seventh. Trojans with losses to Creston and Missouri Valley so far this season. That's a pretty good ball club, I think.
They were impressive.
Had 4 home runs against the Trojans.
I went down there. They're pretty impressive.
1-1 the count to Satoff. And here's the pitch. Swing and a miss to McLaren, I should say. And the count is 1-2. Satoff on deck.
Yeah, well, Creston's in the same. They're 4A, so is Carlisle.
Carlisle's ranked 5th in 4A.
Yeah.
They play some tough competition in that league. 5 classes in softball. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Peyton McLaren with a runner at first.
Change up.
Here's the pitch. Change up rolls in. Ball maybe got caught. There's the throw to first, not in time. They threw down at first base, and Ball barely got back in. 2-2 the count as McLaren did not bite on that changeup. She'll step back in looking for her first hit of the night. I think had 1, 2, 3 hits so far in the game is all. 4 hits including that single here by Ball. The pitch, half swing, strike. 2 down. So Bauman with 2 strikeouts here in the frame. And here's Satoff at the plate with 1 on and 2 down. Carlisle 1 out away from going to 9-2 on the year.
And I'm sitting there thinking,
For the Trojans, number 14,
it might not be a bad
Jillian
idea
Satoff.
if they move over like she did and we think it's a change-up, you be stealing because you're not going to get it down there fast enough.
The pitch swung on and ripped to the whole left field base hit for Jillian Satoff. Keeps the Trojans alive. Dylan Ball will cruise to second, and Jillian gets a single for Atlantic.
That's right.
She had a single against DLC and singles here in the bottom half of the 7th. The Trojans down 7-1, 2-1 and 2 down. Here comes Maddie McLaren, Madison McLaren to bat.
Batting for the Trojans, number 19, Maddie McLaren.
The 8th grader for Atlantic, 1 ground out and 1 strikeout for her. Ball at second, Satoff at first, bottom of 7th. 7-1 Carlisle. Bowman in the circle. The 8th grader looks in and wings it in. That's going to be a strike right down Broadway at the knees. Count 0-1 as Carlisle tries to get out of here and get the bus started and go home. But Trojans have a different idea here as they've got a couple of runners on here. And they need a lot more runs. Here's the pitch. Outside for a ball. The count goes to 1-1 to McLaren. McKenna Sontag, the senior, on deck for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Sontag had a hit back in the 3rd. She's 1 for 2. Maddie McLaren at the plate. Ball at second. Satoff at first. 1-1 the count. Bauman brings it. That's a strike, 1-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes to McLaren. Bauman with 2 strikeouts and allowed 2 hits here in the inning. We're in the bottom half of the 7th. 7-1, Carlisle with the lead. Bauman gets set, looks in. And here's the pitch on the way with 2 on and 2 down. Here it is, outside for a ball. 2-2 the counts. Well, if the Trojans below the bases, that'll make it interesting here, Roger.
It'll make it interesting, yeah.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Runners at first and second, 2 outs. 8th grader against 8th grader here in this varsity contest. And here's the pitch by Bauman coming in. And it is a fought off ground ball right back where it came from. Bauman gloves it, throws to first, and this game is in the books. No runs for Atlantic. They did get a couple of hits here in the frame, and they left to 2. And the Trojans fall short 7-1. And this one over the Carlisle Wildcats. Post-game show coming up, and we'll wrap things up here from Atlantic at 95.7 FM and our live video stream, westerniowatoday.com, powered by Nishnanet.
Southwest Iowa Transit Agency helps all residents in our 8-county region get where they need to go.
First Windy Bank is the longest standing locally owned bank in Atlantic, and as such, we take pride in how we serve our community. For generations, we have been involved with our customers and their families by getting involved in community events and by supporting technology and teaching financial literacy in our schools. You'll also see our support of athletics on the scoreboards at home events. It's this involvement that allows us to know our customers and their families for generations. First Windy Bank.
Have you ever heard the saying, people spend their life building wealth and neglecting their health, only to wish they could trade their wealth for better health at the end? This is Dr. Fritz Beyer, and it has now been over 30 years since my first chiropractic adjustment. I still get asked, do you get adjusted? Absolutely. I try to get adjusted at least once a month. I'm 47 now and still try to stay as active as ever. While I do get a few more aches and pains than when I was younger, it feels great to be able to step on the mat and help kids learning to wrestle. Chiropractic has helped me feel young enough to do it. If staying active is part of your future plans, call 254-BODY to get your body back to the basics.
Welcome back to Atlantic. The Trojans fall short in 2, 4-2 to ELC this afternoon, and then they fall to Carlisle here with a score of 7-1. Carlisle 7 runs on 11 hits in the ball game. Atlantic scored 1 run on 5 hits. Carlisle jumped out to a 1-0 lead in the top of the first inning, and then they tacked another run on in the third to make it 2-0, and 2 more in the fourth inning. Atlantic did play to run the bottom half of the fourth to make it a 4-1 game. Otherwise, Carlisle with a run in the sixth and 2 more in the seventh. Addison Sears went 1 for 4 at the plate. Alyssa Freeman went 2 for 4. Logan Brown 2 for 3. Myra Heidemann 1 for 4. Claire Benson 2 for 4. Mallory Stutzman 1 for 4. Ella Smith had a hit. Mally Stoner had a hit for Carlisle here in the game this evening, the nightcap game. And for Atlantic, hitters for the Trojans were scattered out. Zoe Kirchhoff had a triple. She was 1 for 3. And Dylan Ball had a single in the bottom half of the seventh. She went 1 for 3 in the game. Also, Jillian Satoff 1 for 3 with a single. And McKenna Sontag only got to bat twice there, but she was 1 for 2, and she also had a hit against Esterville Lincoln Central in game number 1 tonight. So the Trojans with 5 hits in the game. And in fact, Sontag won back over this again, Roger Warren, and double checking here. And looks like, yeah, there we go. Wiederstein had a hit to add up to 5. She was 1 for 3 in the ball game. She had that single in that first inning, was thrown out trying to get from first to third on a play. Well, Trojans lose a couple here tonight, but still a long season to go, and they've got a good team.
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, they're fine. You've got a couple of good ball clubs that we played tonight, and they should have learned a little bit on what level they have to get to go far into the postseason. You know, some of the little things that you got to make happen. You're working on, situational baseball, or softball. And it's just every time that there's a pitch thrown, you got to know what you're doing. And we had several situations tonight because, they put a lot of those bunts down to score runs. Well, you got to make the plays. I mean, you got to know what you're doing. So, and there are some times when people make great bunts that you just do the best you can.
No doubt about it.
Just try to get the out, that's for sure. You might just have to give up the run to get the out.
Well, that'll wrap things up here from Atlantic. We had, of course, the matinee this afternoon, and we wrap up our broadcast. Roger, we'll see you. Well, maybe we won't see you Tuesday, but we'll see it.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens on Tuesday. We will be here for the broadcast, though, and live video stream on WesternIowaToday.com and Atlantic host Creston, and that'll be a single game. It's Hall of Fame night. Shelley Glenn will be inducted into the Atlantic Softball Hall of Fame. That'll do it for the broadcast. Thank you for joining us, and have a great weekend.
This is Attic with Alex.